Good evening. This is January 26, 2004, Board of Education Business Meeting. I'm going to call it to order, and we're going to start it with a Pledge of Allegiance. And so I'm going to see if I can get one of my colleagues to volunteer to say the Pledge of Allegiance. What about you, Commissioner Griffith? All right, we're going to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The next order of business will be to present, to make a presentation, and the superintendent and I will make this presentation to a couple of our employees.
Where do you want us to do it from?
Go down there? Okay. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here. We have a couple of presentations. The superintendent acknowledged these two amazing heroes that we have in our staff, David DePasquale as well as Jashawn Rucker. And this evening, we want to make a formal presentation to them, but I'm going to start off by having the superintendent to say a few words on behalf of them both.
Good evening, everyone. Every day we walk into our schools and we have staff that work with our kids that are heroes, right, for the work that they do. But what we witnessed, I was going back and thinking about this. This was on the day before our board meeting, before the break. We had a near tragedy on our hands. A near tragedy on our hands. We had a situation where we could have lost one of our own and lost one of our student athletes. And there are people in this world that freeze, run away, but we have two individuals here that acted, right? And because they acted, a family still has their child with them. Like I said, we have a lot of people that do a lot of good things, but these are true heroes to this kid, to this student, to this family. And for us, think about that during the holiday season. If they didn't act, how hard that would have been for that family. And, we have right here just two tokens, right? One from the district and one from the Board of Education. That won't do enough for what they did, but it is a recognition for the work and the immediate reaction. So for David DePasquale, David, why don't you come up? So David, honoring you for your quick thinking, unwavering commitment, and remarkable teamwork embodying the true spirit of heroism. You stood as a beacon of hope, ensuring the safety and well-being of a child in need. January 2024. Once again, thank you.
And so, David, on behalf of the board, the Rochester Board of Education extends our deepest gratitude and heartfelt appreciation for your extraordinary act of heroism and compassion. Your swift and skillful administration of CPR played a pivotal role in saving a student's life, showcasing exceptional dedication to the well-being of our school community. Given to you on this day, January 2024, on behalf of the President, Board of Education. say a few words.
My man Rashawn needs to come up here. Come. Well, either one of us, we just do this because that's our job, and we're dedicated to the children of this community. And they love us in return. We give it back, but when something like that happens, we respond. And it's a team effort that's safe, and was an overall effort with the coaches and everyone else. So God bless them, and they're into these plaques.
And as you know, David is an athletic trainer in the district, right? And Jashawn is an SSO who just finished some EMT training as well. So, you know, it's, once again, remarkable feat. And similarly, Jashawn, honoring you for your quick thinking, unwavering commitment, and remarkable teamwork embodying the true spirit of heroism. You stood as a beacon of hope, ensuring the safety and well-being of a child in need. Once again, Jashawn, from the district's heart, thank you so much. Appreciate you.
And on behalf of the Board of Education, the Rochester Board of Education acknowledges and honors Mr. Jashawn Rucker for your outstanding contribution to the safety and welfare of our students and dedication to ensuring the well-being of others is commendable and serves as an inspiration to us all. Given this day, January 2024, Cynthia Elliott, on behalf of the Board of Education. Congratulations, and thank you so very much. We really do appreciate it.
I just want to say thank you. Thank you for having me here. Me and Dave did a remarkable thing, and, you know, I didn't think, you know, all this would come from it. You know, I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to serve the Rochester City School District. Everybody in here plays an important role in the support of our students and our families, and I'm just glad to be a part of that. So thank you again from everybody.
So I'm going to ask that our board comes down and we can take a collective picture. Thank you. And if anyone else wants to take pictures, we're going to take pictures from our communication. We'll get them out. But if anyone else, feel free to step up and take some pictures as well.
Thank you.
So just want to again thank our heroes there for that remarkable work, and, you know, just to have one of them to say about, you know, working in this district. So it was just commendable to hear, and if you don't mind giving them another round of applause, really would appreciate it. So So I think the next item on the agenda is for the board clerk to do the announcements.
Yes. Good evening, President Elliott, Commissioners, community. I want to share with you the upcoming events for February 2024. However, before I do that, I do want to share that on Tuesday, January 30th, the board will be hosting a community forum at East High School to discuss the EPO. And then that flyer is online, and you may register for that event at www.rcsdk12.org/EastEPO. So now to the business of February events. We will open up the month on Tuesday, February 6th at 6 p.m., beginning with a policy and a CIGR committee meeting. We will then, there's actually a kind of a swap to this, but there will be a finance meeting projected for Tuesday, February 13th, also at 6 p.m. Then on Thursday, February 15th, we will host the 2024 Students Arts Showcase celebrating Black History. That will also be here at Central Office. On Tuesday, February 27th, we will have the strategic plan team come back before the board, and then that will be followed by the finance committee meeting. On Thursday, February 29th, there will be a Black History Month observance, and that will begin at 4:30, and then the community recognitions at 5 p.m., and that will be ahead of our 6:30 p.m. business meeting. Any speaker who wishes to address the board may register by contacting the board at 585-262-8525 or an email to boardofelducation@rcsdk12.org by noon on the day of the meeting. The board continues to recruit for parent representatives to serve on committees. They are currently recruiting for the Policy and Development Committee at this time. Any parent or legal guardian of a student who is currently attending the district may apply by going to rcsdk12.org/BOE parent rep. Thank you.
Thank you, Rahima. And now the next item on the agenda is speakers addressing the Board of Education. This first speaker is Kevin Lockhart.
For that. Hello. You got me in focus? How long is the public forum? I wasn't told.
You have 3 minutes, Mr. Lockhart.
Okay, I came here today to address the Rochester School Board of Education because I want you to know that you are all very important in this whole county of Monroe, in the whole context of Monroe. You're all very, very important. Because you represent 1/5 of all the county residents in the city of Rochester. And so community representation is super, super important. It's critical, it's central to what the Board of Education trustee does. And so I wanted to address the 1/5 disparity of there being so many more Board of Trustee members throughout Monroe County than in the city of Rochester. And so if there's only, let's say, 8 Board of Trustee members for the Board of Education in the city of Rochester, and there's like 180 in the county, then they're being represented at there's a huge disparity in the representation, as I understand it, between how many people are represented throughout the community in Monroe County versus how many people are represented in the School Board of Education in the city of Rochester. So there's a necessity for equalizing that disparity and establishing volunteer Board of Trustee positions across the bureaus of Rochester proper, of Rochester. We got to get Board of Education volunteers in as trustees. It's very unusual for you all to be paid. I don't know of any other board members in the Board of Education seats in Monroe County who are being paid. Very unusual for you all to be being paid to be a Board of Trustee member. So I'm looking to fill in the missing numbers to make this community whole again. There's a huge lack of, there's no sense of just the basic necessities being met across the district in a lot of places, in my opinion, based on the people that I talk to and what I see in the news in Rochester. So to parents, they just want to make sure that their top 5 concerns are being addressed. And also, they're talking about, I don't know how much time I have, but the county right now is talking about their technology, updating their technology, whether it be screening through the Raptor technology at the doorways or using the Evolve magnetic technology to screen at a higher level at the doorways, single lane, dual lane, it's like $22,000 a year per unit. But that's what they're talking about. We got to be a part of what's going on in Monroe County. Rochester can't be like put into this little corner of society where they get the trickle-down effect of whatever's happening in Monroe County. And I see the lack of representation, this huge disparity in the representation as being the true source.
Mr. Lockhart,
the
that
lack
says
of
your time is
representation.
up. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was a
Next
long one.
speaker is
Thanks.
Trent Jackson. Trent Jackson. All right, that concludes the speakers portion. And the next item on the agenda is the Advisory Council. And I understand that our student advisory representative is not here, but we do have his report. The next Advisory Council report is the Parent Leadership Council.
Good evening. My name is Rebecca Hetherington, and I'm the mom of 3 boys at School 52. I'm part of the leadership team of the Parent Leadership Advisory Council, and I'm here to deliver the activities report for January 2024. If you are a parent of a Rochester City School District student, then you are a member of PLAC, the Parent Leadership Advisory Council, which is the district-wide parent group focusing on all the district's children. Each month, as part of our activities as PLAC, we deliver an activities report to the RCSD Board of Education that outlines the activities of PLAC membership. This information is provided and gathered from parents around the district through membership meetings like the one on Zoom coming up on Thursday, February 8th at 6 p.m., and parents teaching parents events like the winter celebration at Monroe High School on January 11th. Where families were able to gather tons of information from community partners and district departments and initiatives. Parents were able to have conversations while kids participated in snowball games. And conversations need to be the path forward. Conversations are the stepping stones of a collaborative effort to create a foundation for decision-making that affects the students and parents of the Rochester City School District. It is significant that decisions are made together for the benefit of all the city's children. It is necessary that we see each other as human people that make decisions for reasons. It was a missed opportunity when a policy and an amendment about parent and student groups was changed without any input from stakeholders. Without parent and student groups at the table, it is not enough to inform a group that you have rewritten a policy or an amendment about us. Parents and students are invested in the Rochester City School District. The impact of these decisions are real, and inclusion matters. Parents are your partners. Parent engagement is a bridge to solutions, supports for students both in and outside of school buildings. We want to thank the facilities team at Monroe High School and the safety and security officers that stayed on later than expected to support the winter celebration in January. We would also like to thank the departments and administrators that came to have conversations with parents, including Commissioner Griffin, State Monitor Alicia, Superintendent Peluso, Deputy Superintendent Strickland, Chief Evans, Chief Swan, with members of the Special Education Department, Director Precor, and team members of the Office of Parent Engagement who helped guide parents and families through the winter path to the snowball party. When meaningful and thoughtful conversations happen with parents and families, it matters, and it should be the path forward. The winter celebration taught families about school-based planning teams, formerly Policy 2265 and currently 1210. In preparation for the event, PLAC leadership collected as much public data as possible about the groups that currently exist at school buildings. As part of Title I funding approvals, meeting minutes must be published publicly on the school's website. Using those school websites and additional sources, we were able to compile what we submitted to the board as an attachment to this report that shows which programs have the required 3 or more parents on their teams, which is 7 out of the 44 programs. We are submitting this with the understanding that some names may be redacted to the public view. If there are 0 parents at a school-based planning team meeting, it is a building meeting and should not have the designation of school-based planning teams. Of those publicly published minutes, many stated that 0 parents were present. We were informed yesterday afternoon at the January 24th Executive School-Based Planning Team meeting that there is more up-to-date information coming, and we look forward to that. Every school year, the lottery and zones create confusion and anxiety for families. This year is no different. Conversations about this process should start now and continue for the foreseeable future, so that consideration of policies and procedure changes have the family centered for student success. The Parent Leadership Advisory Council Leadership Team meeting was held on Tuesday, January 2nd at 6 p.m. on Zoom, and the next one is on Tuesday, February 6th at 6 p.m. on Zoom. All parents, students, administration, and board members are always welcome. For 2024, we ask that you choose to have parents and students at the front of every decision. Communication, equity, and transparency should always be top of mind. We are the parents of scholars in the city of Rochester, and we want and need you to succeed. Conversations with parents, especially the uncomfortable ones, are critical to moving this district in a direction that supports all the city's children, because parents who remain engaged and are shown that they are valued will continue the work. Thank you.
Thank you. The next advisory report would be from the Bilingual Education Council.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es Tibet García, presidenta del Concilio de Educación Bilingüe.
Good evening. My name is, or her name is, Yvette Garcia, President of the Bilingual Education Council.
El Concilio de Educación Bilingüe celebró el evento anual del Día de Reyes el miércoles 3 de enero del 2024 de 5 a 7:30 en el Centro Recreativo David F. Gantz Center de las 700 de la North Street, Rochester, New York 14605, con una participación de 343 personas, las cuales 197 eran niños y 146 adultos. El evento fue un éxito debido a la asociación y colaboración del Concilio de Educación Bilingüe de Rochester, el Departamento de Educación Bilingüe e Idiomas del Mundo, la Oficina de Participación de Padres del Distrito Escolar, los servicios de apoyo estudiantil y la Oficina de Equidad y Colocación Estudiantil, Ibero American Action League, un reconocimiento especial a los 3 Reyes Magos, el Superintendente Carmine Peluso, Superintendente de Enseñanza y Aprendizaje de Mario Strickland, y Julio Cruz, especialista en participación comunitaria en la Escuela Enrico Fermín, número 17.
The BEC held their annual Three Kings Day celebration on Wednesday, January 3rd at the David Gant Recreation Center. It was a full house with 343 people in attendance. There were 197 children and 146 adults. This event was a success due to the partnership and collaboration between the following: the Rochester Bilingual Education Council, the Department of Bilingual Education and World Languages, the RCSD Office of Parent Engagement, Student Support Services, and the Office of Student Equity and Placement. The Ibero-American Action League, and special acknowledgements go to the Three Kings, Superintendent Dr. Carmine Peluso, Deputy Superintendent of Teaching and Learning Demario Strickland, and Julio Cruz from School Number 17.
Luego de la cena y presentaciones del baile del grupo Los Mambo, cada niño que asistió recibió un regalo envuelto apropiado a su edad. También había bolsas de palomitas de maíz disponibles para todas las familias que se llevaran. El evento terminó con muchas sonrisas y agradecimiento por parte de todos los involucrados. Los grupos de padres se estarán reuniendo para dialogar sobre los cambios que el distrito está haciendo. Los padres tienen derecho de saber los cambios que el distrito está realizando de antemano, ya que se trata del futuro de sus hijos y cómo estos cambios los afectan. Let's have a conversation and listen to each other. Tengamos una conversación y escuchémonos unos a otros.
After dinner and dance performances from Los del Mambo, children in attendance received a wrapped gift appropriate for their age. Bags of popcorn were also available for families to take with them. The event ended with many smiles and gratitude from all involved. Additionally, parent groups will be meeting to discuss the changes the district is making. Parents have the right to know the changes the district is making in advance because it concerns their children's future and how these changes affect them. Let's have a conversation and listen to each other.
Seguimos colaborando con todos los grupos de padres. El 11 de enero del 2024 se llevó a cabo el evento Winter Wonderland Family Celebration, donde estuvimos colaborando con PLAC. El 22 de enero estuve participando en la reunión mensual de CPAC vía Zoom, donde se proveyó la interpretación en español. Continuamos arduamente colaborando con The Children's Agenda en su iniciativa de soluciones no suspensiones y esperamos compartir con ustedes en la próxima reunión el 13 de febrero del 2024 de 5 a 7 en el Trent and Pamela Jackson Rec Center. Esto sería todo por esta noche. Muchas gracias y espero verlos en nuestra reunión.
We continue to collaborate with all parent groups. On January 11th, the Winter Wonderland Family Celebration event was held where we were collaborating with PLAC. On January 22nd, I participated in the monthly CPAC meeting via Zoom where interpretation in Spanish was provided. We continue to work hard with the Children's Agenda on its Solutions Not Suspensions initiative, and we look forward to sharing with you at the next meeting on February 13th from 5 to 7 at the Trent and Pamela Jackson Art Center. That would be all for tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank
Gracias.
you for the report. Is there a report for the Special Education Parent Advisory Council? All right. Ms. Catherine,
Yes, can you hear me?
we can hear you.
Good evening, President Elliott, Commissioners, Superintendent Peluso, and other distinguished guests. My name is Catherine Baroth. I'm the parent of an RCSD scholar at School 58 and an RCSD graduate. The Special Education Parent Advisory Council, or CPAC, held their monthly meeting a week ago, Monday, on January 22nd via Zoom. We had approximately 38 people in attendance. At our meeting, the Special Education Department presented on the graduation requirements and pathways, and particularly the many graduation options that are available to all RCSD students. We would like to thank them for taking the time to present this to us. This information was very valuable to our families. This evening, you have been hearing, or will hear, the parent groups lift up the value of conversations with parents. We would like to point out to you where this is working. CPAC's collaboration with the Special Education Department has been excellent, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that at our meetings, parents are heard. Outside of our meetings, because the Special Education Department is engaging with parents, improvements are being made to the CPSE process in regards to the information parents are receiving. We are also very proud of our collaboration with the department to make the resource fair happen again next school year. Parents brought these ideas and concerns to the table, and the department has been working with us on them. Parents are your partners. You've heard that before. While what we have to say may sometimes be difficult to hear, having our voices heard is the key to improving the relationship between the district and parents. The parent voice must be sought out and valued. We challenge every administrator and board member to actively seek out conversations with our CSD parents. And don't just wait for parents to come to you. Talk to groups of parents, but seek out those one-on-one conversations. Ask them how things are going, what's working, and what is not. See what is on their minds regarding the education of their children, and actively listen. Good things can and will come of these interactions. We've seen it at CPAC. Our next meeting will be February 12th via Zoom. The Zoom link may be obtained by emailing cpac@rcsdsepac@gmail.com. We are always grateful for the support of the Special Education Department and our community partners at our meetings. It would be great to see some board members attend as well to directly listen to the concerns of special education parents. Thank you and good evening.
Thank you. That concludes the reports from the board reports from parents, the advisory council reports. The next agenda item is board reports. There's no audit committee reports, so go to Commissioner Simmons for the ESA report. Commissioner Simmons?
Thank you, President Elliott. The ESA report, the Equity and Student Achievement Committee submitted to the Board of Education. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong part of the report. Okay, so here we go. The Equity and Student Achievement Committee met as a committee of the whole on Tuesday, January 16th, 2024. The board reviewed and accepted the minutes from the December 12th ESA Committee of the Whole meeting. Ms. Keisha James and Mr. Shane Wiegand, co-directors of the Anti-Racist Curriculum Project, presented a sample of the curriculum that is provided free of charge to local school districts. The presentation, along with the 3-year annual report, are available via our board docs. Deputy Superintendent Strickland provided the teaching and learning presentation addressing assessments, programs such as grants and IXL, also reviewed where assessment results are and next steps we can expect. The next ESA Committee of the Whole meeting is Tuesday, February 13th at 6 p.m.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons. The next report is Community and Governmental Relations. Commissioner Santiago?
Hello, everybody. The Community and Intergovernmental Relations Committee met as a committee of the whole Tuesday, January 9th, 2024. The board reviewed and accepted the minutes for November 7th, 2023. We also reviewed and got an update about the 2023 legislative priorities that was completed for 2023. A draft version of the 2024 legislative priorities was presented. We received feedback from the board, and we are currently still taking recommendations and feedback and working on having a agenda to propose in our next meeting on February 2nd, 2024. There we plan to be able to adopt the 2024 legislative priorities. So we'll be sending out an email soon to our board members with a draft and a proposed 2024 legislative priorities. We asked before the meeting, you can send any updates or expectations. And we're hoping that at the February 2nd committee meeting, we can implement and adopt our 2024 legislative priorities. The theme of our legislative priorities for 2024 is Invest in Tomorrow. If communications, if you don't mind pulling up the flyer that's attached, the save the date flyer. Our legislative breakfast theme is Invest in Tomorrow. Our keynote speaker is Damon Meeks. We are planning to accept the 2024 legislative priorities at the next meeting. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Commissioner Santiago. The next report is the Finance Committee report. Vice President LeBron?
Good evening. The Finance Committee did not convene this month, and just as a reminder, we meet every other month, but previews were submitted to folks to review. And at this time, I'm going to invite our Chief Financial Officer, Sean Farr, to present the January 2024 financial report.
All right, good evening. I think. There we go. Good evening. If we look at the packet for January, we always start off with our cash balance. We ended December 31st with $152 million in cash, which is $71 million more than the previous year. So we're still keeping the cash that we've accrued primarily from federal stimulus surpluses that have come through. Just to note that this is the time of year where we hit our low. We hit it last week, and it was $133 million. So we've come a long ways in a couple of years where we don't have to worry about having to borrow funds to continue operations through our low point. That quickly changes. Next week, we're scheduled to get a state aid payment of $175 million. And as a result, we're not projecting to go under $200 million in cash for the remainder of the school year. So our cash position remains strong and is generating good interest returns for the district. If you go to page 2 of the document, you will see that we'll start with the general fund revenue, which is projected to exceed the budget. So that's good. And our grant revenue as well is projected to exceed where we started, and that is a result of getting additional grants during the year. Note that our food service fund received a distribution from the state of $636,000, which is quite a bit of money for the food service fund. And that is from the state to address supply chain disruptions for the purchase of food. It's actually money that was originally allocated by the state in 21-22 fiscal year as well as 22-23. And they allocated a lot because they still have $86.8 million left, and that was distributed in this year. So that is a good distribution for us. It will not repeat in future years, however, but that's money that's still being distributed from the COVID disruption. In total, we're $876 million is our general fund budget, and as I said earlier, we're tracking to exceed that for this year. If you go to page 3 of the cover letter, you'll see that at the top, our appropriations, we track our budget and our expenditures and our encumbrances each month, and then we have a remaining balance, which at this, as of December 31st, was $399 million, about 45.7% of the budget. So we are tracking well to control our budget. The encumbrance is $133 million, really is encumbering certain funds for the whole fiscal year. So that's why we spent more than a prorated portion for the year. If you go down to section E on that same page, this is the federal stimulus funding. The CRISA, the Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental Act funds are closed out. The American Rescue Plan funds are still active, and they go through September 30th of this year. We have currently, as of December 31st, we were looking at appropriations available of about $65 million, and we have a plan in place to expend all those funds. And it's similar to the plan that we had a year ago at this time for the CRISA funds. You go to page 4, and section G, you'll see capital summary. And this just gives us an idea of how much the column that's called cash capital is money the district has put in. Bond funds are debt issuances of the district, and you can see the remaining balances there and how much was spent in the previous month. If you go down to section 8, I'll note that there was a project of $1.8 million that was canceled, and that is the air conditioning for the central kitchen, the food service central kitchen on Hudson Avenue. It's not that we don't need the project. It was a result of there were other projects, specifically a large project at Charlotte for their air conditioning, where the bid results exceeded what we had budgeted. So that project was executed and completed, and this project was canceled until we can get funding in a future year to do that project. The school, if you go down section I of page 4, the school's food service fund, we're projecting a healthy surplus this year, helped with the grant or the distribution that I had mentioned previously. So things are going quite well for the food service fund. And always like to recognize the hard workers, the people who serve our students every day and don't get a lot of recognition for what they do. It's a very important job. Section J, charter school enrollment. As of January 1st, there was about 7,800 students in 17 charter schools that we have in the district. That results in a projected tuition payments of $112 million for the year. We have budgeted 114.6, so that leaves us right now with a projected surplus of $2.6 million. So we're in good shape as far as the expenditures versus the budget for charter school tuition. That's my report.
Are there any questions from any of the commissioners?
Vice President LeBron, I just want to, I'm coming after the charter schools. I want my money, I want my children back. So I just want that on record. Every time you talk about charter schools, I'm getting my babies back. So, you know, and I think we're getting in a position where we could be as competitive as they are. So coming back, we're going to save that money for our district. Thank you, Vice President.
Thank you, President Elliott. Okay, hearing no questions at this time. Thank you, Sean. Can I get a motion to accept the, thank you, our October through December quarterlies? No. So second, motion by President Elliott, seconded by Commissioner Simmons. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. It passes, and that concludes the finance report. The next finance meeting will take place on February 13th, 2024. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President. The next committee report is the Human Capital. Commissioner Malloy.
Thank you. Good evening. The Human Capital Committee met as a committee of the whole on Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024. The Human Capital Committee discussions focused on the following items. We first reviewed and accepted the minutes from the September 19th, 2023 HR Committee of the Whole meeting. It should be noted that we have since voted to change the name of the committee to the Human Capital Committee as of our January meeting. And we also reviewed and accepted the minutes from the November 28th, 2023 HR Committee of the Whole meeting. We reviewed and discussed the purpose of the Human Capital Committee, and we'll have further discussions moving forward on this as a board as we come up with renewed focus and purpose for this particular committee. And then Chief Miller presented the Nurturing Excellence and Staff Retention updates, including a vacancy report, staff attrition and retention, and substitute teacher fill rates. The next Human Capital Committee of the Whole meeting is Tuesday, March 19th, 2024, and that is my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Malloy. And the next report, there's no policy committee report, and so I'll go with my report. Just want to take a moment to wish everybody a happy new year. This month and this year has already been really challenging. A lot of work that we already have accomplished this month, and I would just say to you all, let's take care of ourselves as we do this work that we're doing, because it is a lot. But, you know, we can get it done. God has positioned us to do this work. And so let's just take it a day at a time, minute by minute, in order to get it done. But I just wanted to say a Happy New Year to everyone. I've been working with the commissioners around committee goals. So the board just unanimously approved the goals for for the district, for the board goals overall. And so I'm asking committees to look at what they are doing and come up with, some goals around how can each committee move into the overall goals for the district. And so I'm having conversations with all of the commissioners around that. And if I have not met with you yet, that's going to be coming. Also, there was a comment that was made at the last board meeting that graduation rates are declining. And I want to just make sure, because I don't want that narrative to get out there, and that's a misrepresentation of really what's going on within our schools. And so the 2018 cohort, we had a graduation rate overall of 71%. So from the time that I started in 2006, which was 39%, the district now realizes a graduation rate of 71%. Early college, 90%. World of Inquiry, 88% graduation rate. SOTA, 94% graduation rate. A School Without Walls, 82% graduation rate. East High School, 84% graduation rate. Wilson, 73% graduation rate. So we are moving in the right direction. This board has pushed it. So the graduation rates are not declining. They are actually on the move. And so we expect to see even a larger increase in the future. So I just want to make sure that that was clear. Now, we may not be communicating that as well, but that certainly is where we stand in this district around graduation rates. So I wanted to make sure that that was clear, that we were moving in the right direction. And so just want to also mention that there is a mandatory state ed finance training on this coming Saturday. That's mandated for us to be there. And I also just want to point out that there is and you may have said some of this too, Rahima, but there is a January 30th, the EPO forum is going to be held, and I'm going to be on the radio tomorrow, WDKX, talking about the EPO. So that concludes my report. It's not a written report, but just wanted to make sure that I reported on those things that are going on. There are other things that are going on, but I'm just summarizing those things. And so the next item on the agenda is the superintendent's report, and we'll start with Superintendent Peluso. Superintendent Peluso.
Thank you, President Elliott. Good evening to you, Vice President LeBron, commissioners, our families, our staff, our students joining us and watching us on social media. I want to start tonight's report by updating you on school choice. Our school choice data for our 6-7 has been coming in, and we have 1,452 students eligible to participate, and 772 have participated or will be placed. 680 of non-participating students will be placed in a school in their zone. And similar for our 8-9, 1,175 students were eligible to participate. 556 students will be participated or will be placed, and 600 of the non-participating students will be placed in a school within their zone. Throughout the school choice and the special lottery, for outreach, we've done general and targeted robocalls, we've sent postcards, we've done emails, we've done our texts, we've done open houses, we've used our digital magazine that's been created by our communications department. We utilized our newsletter. More and more of our information is being posted to our social media, through our Twitter account, through our Facebook, through Reels on Instagram. So all of those things are happening through social media. And then with the special lottery and both school choice, we've had a lot of news releases related to this and news stories throughout this process, resulting in at least 10 media stories throughout that process. We're now in the process of drafting a strategic plan that will help shape the future of the district. This month, we conducted several focus groups with students, parents, teachers, staff, and community members. The feedback has been shared with our steering committee. I'm extremely proud of the work already done with the Board of Education on our mission, our vision, our core beliefs, and our priorities. A draft of our strategic plan will be shared with the board in February for potential adoption. So excited about our strategic plan and the path forward. I want to thank our incredible partners from the Rochester Education Foundation, ARCAN, and the City of Rochester for helping our seniors achieve the dream of college education. We kicked off several fests this month, which will help students determine the amount of financial aid they will receive for college. These FAFSA fests offer a gateway for our talented students to unlock opportunities, navigate financial aid, and enter college with confidence. I hope all of our seniors will take advantage of these opportunities across the district. Our Real Talk, Real Change. We're seeking continued feedback about our school climate. A survey opened January 22nd and runs through February 16th. Results from this survey will provide the district with the basis for understanding and improving the educational climate in our schools. The survey is completely anonymous and can be accessed from anywhere. Students and families can visit www.rcsdk12.org/realtalk. More and more excited. Every time we come, I feel as if we're recognizing another staff member for some outstanding accomplishments, and I want to congratulate Monica Wellington, a teacher at Oasis, for being honored as a recipient of a Golden Apple Award from News 8. Ms. Wellington is an ESL teacher, and she began her career in the district in 2003 as an elementary substitute teacher. Many of the students in her classes are refugees from all over the world, and this is their first time in a classroom. They reside throughout the city, sometimes transferring on multiple buses to engage in her class. Congratulations to Monica. We're coming up on our Black History Month celebration, and new this year, I hope you will join us for a celebration with our students and families. We are recognizing Black History Month with a showcase where students will sing, play instruments, or read poetry. We're excited to host this event right here at Central Office on Thursday, February 15th. Mark your calendar. This is a wonderful opportunity to celebrate the rich cultural contributions that have shaped our society, and I look forward to witnessing the creativity and talents I know our students will bring to this event. Our Hub Open House is on January 30. We're officially, it's been open and running, but we're doing an official opening of our new hub at Northwest Junior High next week. This is a huge step to improving social emotional issues for our students. HUB stands for healing, understanding, and belonging. This is an intentional space for building community, navigating conflict, and restoring relationships. This will help us break down barriers to support students and families' needs in and out of school. We're thankful to our community partners who have already been using the hub. I look forward to next week's grand opening on Tuesday at 12 and 4 p.m. at Northwest. Look at this beautiful picture. January is School Board Recognition Month, and I want to thank our commissioners for all the work you do on behalf of our students, family, and staff. I am grateful for your partnership and appreciate your collaboration on the important work we do throughout the course of the school year. I know that together, as one RCSD, we will make significant strides to improve this district. Just to keep you abreast on a few things that are happening with Invest in Tomorrow, I'll be announcing our bell times for next school year. This has an impact just because there are staff that are transferring and staff that are making some decisions that also need to know what the bell times are for next year, as well as our families. There are going to be really no significant changes to bell times aside from our middle schools. There are no major changes. Students in middle schools remember, will be transported via yellow buses. That's one of the transitions that we made when we went from a K-6, 7, 8, 9, 12, and we were reconfiguring. It was really important to me that we used yellow bus services for our students in 7th and 8th grade. So the times for our elementary schools will not change. Our times for middle schools will be 7:30 to 2:30 and 9 to 4. High schools will be 7:30 to 2:30 and 8:30 to 3:30. The high school and the 7th and 8th and 9th through 12th school day is the same length, but when you ride RTS, when you ride yellow buses, we need an hour and a half of swing time on buses to do drop-offs, pickups, and get to the next runs. And when we do RTS, they only need an hour to do the run. So that's where the difference in time comes, but really important for us to make sure that our middle school students in 7th and 8th grade were riding yellow buses. Our special lottery, we had 3,578 eligible to participate. We had 1,634 participate or be placed. 1944 non-participating students will be placed in elementary and middle schools by zone or their high schools as citywides. We are finalizing the school naming and renaming process, and I want to thank all of our students, parents, families, and staff who attended our input and feedback sessions last week as we work to name new schools and rename 2 others. As part of our reconfiguration plan and as we invest in tomorrow, it is important to have our community's voice when we name these new schools. The board will vote on February 13th, and the new names will be submitted to the state by the March 1st deadline. President Elliott, that concludes my superintendent's report.
Thank you, Superintendent Peloso. Are there any questions for the superintendent?
Just quickly regarding bell times, I think the only concern that I have would be when we think about athletics after school for our modified sports, and having 2 different end times might make it more difficult. The same with our high schoolers as well, and especially for some of the sports that are maybe underrepresented, how do we get kids to united teams, et cetera, in a timely manner? To make sure that everyone, or as many people as possible, can participate in all of those sports despite, whatever school they go to.
And I know our athletic director we've had multiple conversations on this as well. Having fewer schools with 7th and 8th helps us be a little bit more strategic and getting resources to our schools to make sure that they're able to come back and forth. When you have multiple, like we had right now, K-8s, that makes it a little bit difficult, but we're talking about having plans for our 7th and 8th grade via shuttles, getting them to places, having an after-school study hall if necessary while we wait. So there are things that I know the athletic department's already discussing in terms of this.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Malloy. Commissioner Simmons?
Yes, also along the bell times, I see the 7:30 start standard, what have you. Is that to address the concerns around the 8:15 start where educators were arriving at the same time as the students?
So, yeah, this has been a kind of a concern throughout. The bell times and the start times of staff and schools have not changed at all, right? But our 7:30 and 9 o'clock time, our kids will be getting there 7:30 and 9 to give our staff the appropriate time to make sure they're ready for when kids come in.
Vice President LeBron?
What happens to schools like Soda? Because I'm looking at, right now, my daughter has an 8:30 a.m. bell time for 7th grade. She'll be going into 8th grade, but that school is
7:12. So there are a few exceptions to this where when we send out the whole bell schedule, and it'll probably go out tonight with the communication or tomorrow morning with my update, you'll see the full scope of it. But Soda as a 7:12 is an 8:30 to 3:30 school. So they'll be an 8:30 to 3:30 school. World of Inquiry, and I don't want to quote this wrong, one of their K-6 is earlier and their 7:12 is later. So those will operate as 7:12s. So those will be a little bit different, and those will be on the bell times as well. So there'll be no change with Soda in terms of being separate.
Thank you. And then I know that this is not a reality, but I always want to remind folks that the research actually states, especially for middle school and high schools, that they should have later start times, and they should. And it is a challenge to get them up in the morning as well. But I know that we can't change this at this time. I just have to put that out there because we're literally operating against what the research says. And I just want to put that out there and be a push for kids everywhere because they want later start times, and I agree with them. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President. Commissioner Santiago?
And I'll just ditto to what Commissioner LeBron just said. I think it's something that we do have to look at, on how the time, of course, where circumstances is nothing that can be changed at the moment. But, I think that's good. It will be good for us to just pay attention to how that time may be affecting attendance in our students and being ready to respond to that when need be.
Yeah, and I just want to respond to this with one, that's something that we could spend some time on next year, kind of looking at schedules and bell times. The RTS and the middle school runs, we need an hour to rotate through, and it also kind of comes into athletics, especially in the fall when things happen to get dark earlier. So if we go to like a 9:30 to 4:30 time, it's tough for our teams to get to other areas and play in daylight. So absolutely, I think we could do some more research on what is a good time and a good start in that time. We could absolutely do that. Because for me, it doesn't matter. It just needs to be within an hour and an hour and a half.
Commissioner Patterson, I know you don't have your hand raised, but I wanted to give you an opportunity if you have any questions for Dr. Peluso.
No, thank you. I don't have any questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Peluso. Superintendent Blocker?
Thank you, President Elliott, Vice President LeBron, Commissioners, and all others that are listening. First, I would like to share that our East Lower School 7th grade scholars did a poetry slam celebration at New City Cafe, hosted by Dr. Hogestein's class. When completing curriculum-embedded performance tasks, they are always seeking an authentic audience, and they were surrounded by so many family members and community supporters at the New City Cafe. Great job to our 7th graders. Our scholars participated in the Red Cross blood drive. We made donations, both through scholars and staff, that have the ability to save 78 lives. We host 3 blood drives each year, and every 25 donations of blood we get, our scholars receive a $250 scholarship towards a senior going to college. We currently have 2 former scholars using the blood drive scholarship. Thank you to Ms. Flaherty for organizing this. I had the wonderful opportunity to go and visit Mr. Dryden's AP English class as they delve deeply to create their own definition of what success means. They conducted personal interviews, watched a documentary depicting the evolution of former high school scholars that were voted most likely to succeed, and reviewed online articles. They then created shadow boxes that depicted their own unique definition of what success for them would mean in the future, and wrote an essay. Some scholar responses to me after the presentations were, "This was the most impactful assignment I have ever done at school." Another scholar said, "I never wanted this unit to end. I learned so much about myself." That's culturally relevant and responsive teaching at its finest. The Rochester Fire Department visited our East Health classes. They taught Stop the Bleed and also provided Narcan administration training as part of our first aid, CPR, and AED unit. This partnership allowed over 200 scholars to learn from our community professionals. East scholars went ice skating. They traveled to Manhattan Square Park to enjoy the Martin Luther King Jr. ice rink for their physical education classes. It was great to expose scholars to fun physical activity available right in our community. Thanks to Commissioner Shirley Green from the City of Rochester's Department of Recreation and Human Services for your support. East scholars keep traditions alive with 3 Kings Day celebration during our bilingual town hall, where they dressed up and provided gifts to their peers. On this day in Spain, many children get their Christmas presents, and in Puerto Rico, before children go to sleep on January 5th, they leave a box with hay under their beds so the kings will leave good presents. It's important to preserve our kids' history even here. A number of East scholars that applied to the ACE Mentor Program were chosen to participate amongst hundreds of applicants. The ACE Mentor Program of America is a no-cost after-school program that prioritizes workforce development for high school students by connecting them with experts from the design and construction industry. ACE Mentoring addresses pressing workforce needs, offers a range of exciting opportunities for students, and plays a crucial role in bridging the skills gap with continuous mentoring opportunities all the way through high school to full-time employment. I'm very proud to announce that the East Upper School received their information from New York State. They have met 90% of their demonstrable improvement indicators. We still have two areas that we're working heavily on, which is chronic absenteeism and science, where we continue to find it hard to fill all positions with certified teachers. This is a representation of tremendous work and effort by scholars, by staff, by families in the community to work together for this success. Our 8th graders on Friday, January 19th, in partnership with the Urban League of Rochester Gear Up program, traveled to Roberts Wesleyan during the snowstorm and toured the campus. They also completed a scavenger hunt, received a presentation from the admissions department, participated in Minute to Win games led by the Student Multicultural Advisory Council, and enjoyed lunch on campus. We continue to try to expose them to as many college opportunities as possible. Our NYSA scholars are gaining valuable work-based learning at East. Our scholars in the NYSA program are now providing coffee, tea, hot chocolate, and pastries for staff to purchase Monday through Thursday mornings in our Metals Cafe. Scholars are gaining valuable hands-on experience working with customers, managing money by selling punch cards, and learning how to operate equipment for future employment. From carrot cake cupcakes to chocolate chip cookies to blueberry muffins. Thank you to our NYSA scholars and Ms. Snyder. The East Upper School Career Conversations Up Close and Personal continues to take place. We try to engage with professionals in various fields to learn firsthand about their careers. We have had thus far RPD, RFD, the Monroe County Office of Mental Health, real estate agents, and architecture representatives visit. I'm incredibly proud to announce and congratulate Sarah Adams. Sarah Adams was selected as the Rock the Future Alliance Youth Leadership Award winner. She continues to be a youth leader who inspires others to use their voice to make a change in the Rochester community and represents the Rock the Future Alliance's mission to improve cradle-to-career outcomes for Rochester's children. We are so proud of Sarah and the advocacy work that she does. That concludes the East Report. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Blocker. Are there any questions for Superintendent Blocker? Commissioner Simmons?
Yes, thank you for your presentation. I think I'm looking at slide 9, 90% of your demonstrable indicators, there's been an improvement. So that technically means you're out of receivership in that area, if I'm understanding that right?
It means at this point we'll be projected to be. If everything is finalized by the state, we would be projected to exit in June of 2024.
Congratulations. Okay, thank you. I wanted that clarity.
Paluso?
I do want to bring some clarity to that, not regarding East. We have demonstrable indicators that we have to meet for each of the schools. It is not an indicator as whether or not you're at, if you met, we have some schools that made 100%, but if you're in the bottom 5% of the state or you're in the bottom 10% of the state, you still will remain as a CSI school or in receivership. So there are other metrics in place, but it doesn't immediately mean that you're out of receivership, because we've had some of our schools meet 100% of them and still remain in that accountability status.
Got you. That's good clarity. But this is still significant improvement, 90%. So I got to shout that
Absolutely.
out. That's
Absolutely.
great. Thank you so much.
Vice President, did you have a question? Okay. Anybody else? Commissioner Patterson, do you have any questions for Superintendent Blocker?
I do. Again, that last exchange of information between her and the superintendent and my colleague. So could Superintendent Blocker, for myself and for the community, could you reiterate what you said relative to receivership and where you're at with your high school, where you're at with your middle school, as far as coming out of receivership, and anything that will just clarify it for me? Because again, I was clear initially, but then the superintendent kicked in, and it kind of threw me for a loop there. So could you just clarify that for myself and for the public?
Certainly. So as he indicated, it's not just based on demonstrable indicators, it's also based on your federal status as a school, whether you're a CSI school or an ATSI school or LSI. A comprehensive school improvement, CSI indicator, means you're in the greatest need of support. So if you are a CSI school, regardless of how many demonstrable improvement indicators you hit, you still will remain in receivership. So it takes a combination of both of those things. Once we find out officially as far as what our designation is, that should be coming out soon, it will indicate if we are going to leave receivership. Based on preliminary information, it appears that we are no longer a CSI school, and we have hit 90% of our indicators as indicated. Our lower school is not at that same point that the upper school is currently.
Any other questions for Superintendent Blocker? All right, thank you. Before we get to the consideration of resolutions, there was another part of my report I wanted to report on with regard to graduation rates, because I want to make it clear that we're moving in the right directions. This is the latest information that's available. Females are graduating at a 77% rate. Males, 65. General education students, 77%. We still have work to do around students with disabilities, around 51%. Black students are graduated at a 73% graduation rate, and Hispanics at 66%. So we've still got some work to do, but don't want anybody to say that we are declining in our graduation rates. It's just really important that we're putting the right message out there. So thank you, and so consideration of resolutions. I'm going to, if it's okay with my colleagues, there is one resolution here that's sort of out of sync. Resolution 220, is it? I believe, yeah. So we'll go up, if it's okay with everybody, to sort of bundle a little bit. Now, Rahima, do you want me to bundle a specific way, or can I just?
No, just as long as you call out the range of numbers, so
Okay.
it's clear.
All right, very good.
I think General Counsel wants to.
I'm sorry, I just want to make sure I'm paying attention. You said there's a specific resolution that you wanted to.
Well, there's one that's sort of out of sync, Resolution 220. So.
It's an amendment.
It's an amendment? Okay.
She wants to bundle, so.
I don't want to bundle? That's all right with you, General Counsel?
It's just fun. I heard a number that I wasn't seeing online.
I know, see, she on point right now.
Chief, you got to keep him in check.
President Elliott. It's me, over here, ma'am.
Over here.
Oh,
The
sorry.
administration has a resolution that we would like to amend on the floor, and that is Resolution 595. So when we get to that, if you could
Sure.
call on me. Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to do the resolutions, the consent agenda resolutions, as well as the human capital resolutions, Resolution 585 through 594. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Malloy. Is there a
Second.
second? Seconded by Vice President LeBron. Any questions or comments related to resolutions 585 through 594?
Can you hold on one second? I just want to make sure that we're the one resolution or the information that I want to ask a question about.
I'm going to give you that chance.
I just want to make sure I have the right one. What was your bundle?
It is resolutions 585 through 594.
Okay.
All right?
Okay, thank
So
you.
Vice President LeBron?
Yes, I just want to say congratulations to Jason, who is the principal from Monroe, who is being tenured tonight. So I just want to thank him for all of his hard work and dedication.
Let me give me a
to
standing
all of.
ovation right now.
Me too. Me too, Jason, because I just have to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you to the principal at Monroe, Jason Muhammad, for all of your hard work and dedication. And I just have to say this, because I was really nervous when the previous principal, who I had a great relationship with, and you did as well, and students up there, I was really nervous about that transition, but you have taken the foundation that you all worked with her, and you have taken Monroe to the next level. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of the dedication and hard work that you and your team put into it to maintain the work and the growth and the progress you all made. So congratulations tonight.
And
Thank
let
you.
me just also say, in connection to what the Vice President is saying, I remember from this board that there had been some questions about the integrity of your work. I was very offended by that, because the work that you all are doing, that's the work that I do in the community. And I know that it works. And so because your numbers were higher than East numbers at the time. And so there was someone that had some kind of, I don't have to even go into it, but I know the work, that the integrity of that kind of work, because that's the work that we do in this neighborhood, in this community all along. And so thank you so very much for all that you do. We appreciate you so very much. Don't think we don't. We really do. Thank you. Our heart goes out to you. So thank you. Any other questions around resolutions 585 through 594? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And so there's amendment to Resolution 595?
That is correct. One of the members who is listed here is also listed in the retirements that you just approved, and that is Marilyn Hale from school. She's Associate Director at School 33. And so, no, excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm looking at it wrong. At school number 4. And so, as you are aware, our resolution process starts 6 weeks before the meeting. And so when this information was put in, we did not have Ms. Hale's retirement. So we want to strike that from the resolution.
Thank you. So is there a motion to amend? Is that how to say it?
So motion for the discussion for the resolution.
Yeah, motion for the,
Yep.
Commissioner Malloy, second.
Second.
Vice President LeBron, second.
And then a motion. to
Discussion?
amend.
Is that a discussion or motion for?
You can go straight to the motion to amend.
Yeah.
And
All right, all right. Any discussion regarding that? Commissioner Griffin?
I just had a question about the actual resolution itself, with the nonviolent crisis intervention training and how's it laid out for the rest of the members of the
All
district.
right, we're not talking about the program
Okay,
itself.
so it's not time for me to
This is
mention
just
that
the
yet. Okay.
personnel.
I just want to make sure that I get my question answered. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Any other questions or comments regarding that? Yep.
So it's a motion to amend to remove Marilyn.
Marilyn Hale, yeah, that's what we're talking about right now. Okay. All right, any other questions? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you very much for that. And so we'll go on down.
No, And
Now to vote?
and then
Motion.
now the motion on the amendment, on the resolution itself.
All right.
as amended.
So any questions, comment on the resolution itself? Motion.
Motion.
Thank you. I'm gonna get this right before it's over. You're right. So do I need to call for discussion?
That's right.
Yep,
exactly.
okay,
now
so
Commissioner
any
Griffin can ask her question.
All right, Commissioner Griffin.
I just wanted to get a little bit more information about the nonviolent crisis intervention training. Is there anything that we have that we can review on what this training actually is for the teachers? And I also wanted to know how are the teachers selected, and will more teachers be trained on it, or are we in the process of training the teachers? I seen selected schools, so I'm just trying to I'm curious of how this was done.
So can we put that question in the question log?
It is in the question
Oh, I'm
log, and
sorry.
it was answered this morning or yesterday.
Oh, okay, so you can find, if you want to talk about it, Chief Scott, you can.
Yes, good evening, Commissioners. The participants are all chosen by their building principal through either the safety teams that are designated at each of the schools or the building committee team at each of the schools. So that's how the participants are chosen.
Okay, what is the initiative to make sure that all or a majority of the people in our district, the teachers per se, are trained in this nonviolent crisis intervention program?
So the individuals who are chosen are going to turnkey that information to, of course, their buildings, but also we are attempting to make sure that we get that across the district as well.
Would it be lucrative to have like almost like an assembly with this training, and somebody just present it to them? Why is it that there's just selections? I'm just curious of why we can't do it like a mass training. Am I not on point with this? I'm just trying to figure out how you do it and why we having so many
Commissioner's
different
gonna,
things.
the superintendent's gonna respond.
So, so there are, with professional development, there are costs associated, right? And today you're approving a cost for the next group of 47 or so, I think 46 now that we removed Maryland, to be trained in this. We've trained, I think, upwards of 1,200. We're going to continue to train in cycles. We have to secure funding. This is funded, I believe, through a grant, and we'll continue to use the grant to train more and more people throughout the process. So this isn't, we're going to turn key, we're going to train. We do have to reserve funds because we have to pay for additional hours when we do after-school trainings as well.
I guess my concern is that to make sure that it's given to all the schools and not just certain schools. I see certain numbers, so I just want to make sure that we're getting it, we're addressing all the schools and make sure someone's in there that has received that nonviolence training.
Couldn't agree more, and maybe we can get you the list who've already completed it and what
Okay.
schools they're at, and then who's
Yeah.
doing it now, so you could see that by numbers, how many people at schools, but
Okay.
I'm pretty certain that we're hitting almost every school throughout
Yeah, I
this.
would just be curious to see how it is throughout all the schools, how many people are getting trained in each school collectively.
So the deputy superintendent has also said that that information has been answered, and then it's in the question log, so you can refer to the question log as well.
So we do have the numbers for each school that have already been trained.
No, that wasn't requested, but as the superintendent
Okay.
said, we'll put that in the new board log, and then
Okay.
we'll get those to you.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're
No
welcome.
further questions. Thank you.
Commissioner Patterson, you have any questions? Okay,
No, I do not. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So am I able to bundle 595 as amended?
I think I would just vote on it.
All right, so so we've all had discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Commissioner Patterson, your vote? I don't know if we.
I don't think he's voting because he
All
has to
right.
be on camera.
Okay. Are you voting or are you just listening?
Well, I'm voting now. You just asked me, so I had to come
All
on camera,
right.
so, yes.
All right. Was your intention to be on camera or no, Commissioner?
No.
All right, so, all right. All right, we're about done anyway, sir, so hope you feel better. All right,
Thank you.
so the next resolutions are resolutions 596 through 600. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Vice President LeBron, is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Santiago. Oh, what you say? Any questions or comments related to resolutions 596 through 600? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, is there a amendment here is there approval for this amendment for Resolution 220? Am I saying that right, General Counsel?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments related to Resolution 220? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so we'll go on and bundle the remaining. Is there a motion?
If you can, I need to recuse myself or abstain from Resolution 602.
Yeah, we'll do that when we get there. All right. Is there a motion for Resolution 601 through 604?
Motion.
Motion by Vice President LeBron.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Santiago. Any questions or comments related to Resolutions 601 through 604? Commissioner Simmons?
The comment I just made regarding abstention from 602.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so I'm going to turn it over to, under unfinished business, to the Vice President to give us an update on the budget calendar. Vice President?
Yes, thank you. And I do want to thank the board clerk who worked on Saturday to accommodate my schedule, and I just have to thank her for that. But we did have a meeting, and I have been having some conversations with some of the members of City Council who have requested that we do our joint session prior. And that is because traditionally we vote on it, and even though we recognize that it's a symbolic vote at City Council, they still want to at least have the opportunity to give feedback before we actually vote. And so, I just want to say and remind people, because I've been doing this for 6 years, and I feel like it's the same repeat around, that the fact that City Council's vote is, again, a symbolic vote at best, and even with their feedback, that commissioners still focus on the business of the district and that we stay focused here, because sometimes the feedback doesn't make sense for our budget, our district, from their lens. I just have to put that out there respectfully to my colleagues on all sides, because we're going to try this year. This will be a big change for both government bodies to sort of come together before the vote. But I don't want that to be a holdup from our process. And I'll just end at that. So there are some changes here, two big changes that I'm sort of requesting as well. Currently on 2/27, ESA is slated to meet. And my request is that we flip the ESA meeting where finance was supposed to meet. So instead of ESA meeting on February 13th, we would have a finance meeting of the whole so that the district and East EPO superintendents can present their budget overviews to all of us, along with the capital improvement project documents. So that's my request. And then we would have to switch ESA over to 2/27. So that's the first amendment. The second one is combining our public budget webinar. So I host a public budget webinar, but I was talking with the board clerk, and I just want, for full transparency, the purpose of me starting that was so that we can have sort of the same repetitive conversation every year of what makes up a budget, because there's always new people to these conversations, new parents sort of coming in, and I do think it's important that we lay down the educational foundation of all of the things that make a budget in general, and then have a conversation. So the budget webinar was sort of intended to educate about the makeup of a budget, expenditures that come in, our revenues that go out, mandates that we have, the fact that 75% of our total budget is staffing, and break down real numbers for people that they can digest in real time, because I know $1 billion sounds like a lot, but when 75% of that is automatically going to staffing burden, that is not a lot of money left to actually redistribute among our portfolio. So I do want to modify that this year and have it recorded so that we eliminate essentially in the future the budget webinar, and it would be just a recorded video of what's in a budget. This is what's always here. These are the standard sort of overview pieces. That does not mean that all the other pieces that happen, we're all legally obligated to do all of the other things. But that was a one-off, but my proposal is that we do it that same day, modify it, and do it at the same, right after or before the state monitor's presentation. And so my proposal is we host both of those on Wednesday, March 20th, and eliminate the March 13th date. And that's all for you all here. And then we do have a date for the city council, and that is the last one I want to bring your attention to. City council kickback April 30th, I believe, and I will just double check on the finalized one.
That is correct.
Tuesday, April 30th, yeah.
At 5:30.
For the budget hearing with city council and joint council board public hearing. Are there any questions about those changes? I know there's a lot of change. There's 3 changes, but I feel like they're pretty impactful. Commissioner Simmons, any feedback on the switching ESA for finance?
No, I don't have any feedback. I was able to speak with Clerk Nguyen and get an understanding of what the request was, which I agreed to, so I'm
Thank
fine
you.
with that, yep.
Thank you. Any questions? Any questions? Okay. All right, so I do want a motion that we vote on this budget, and then we'll vote and amend as we get the dates finalized from city council, because I do know that we're still waiting from Katie. I know, I talked to her this morning, and I was like, we're gonna still say. Yeah.
Motion by Commissioner Santiago.
Motion by Commissioner Santiago for the budget calendar key date. Again, we'll amend as city council gives us and finalizes their dates. I will bring the budget calendar back one more time once city council has finalized the dates.
I second that.
Seconded by Commissioner Griffin. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Thank you all.
Thank you, Vice President LeBron. There's no new business, there's no executive sessions. I'm going to ask that my colleagues complete the board survey, but I'd ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second. I'm taking Commissioner Santiago.
No, I motion. Let's get out of here. Motion second. He done. We going to.
Thank you, everybody.
Who got
Aye.
that?